Hey guys, Mixed Media Girl here. In this video, I am making a gorgeous resin painted vase with a matching resin bowl, and I'm using black, white, and silver. This was a color suggestion from someone on Facebook. Please stay tuned until the very end to see the entire process. I'm using Mixed Media Girl Artist Resin, and the colors that I'm using are Alumilite white resin dye, Alumilite black resin dye, and then some polycolor titanium mica powder, as well as diamond dust mica powder. I mixed those two micas together. I'm doing this on a glass vase. The only thing I did to prep the vase was clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. It's sitting upside down on a plastic cup, and that is sitting inside a silicone mold. Now, when I'm pouring on the vase, I start off with some large layers just to get it covered, and that helps the rest of the resin to flow. And I'm using enough resin to fill both the tray mold and to paint the vase. After I do my large layers of color, I start to go in there with a little more detailed layers. You see me here using a stick to put out just very small amounts. This is how I love to do it. There's many ways you could do it, but this is my preferred method. And I just keep going basically until I'm happy with the design. And ideally, I have the tray filled as well. Now, if I'm happy with the design before I get the tray filled, I don't just keep going. I stop, and then I will put the rest of the resin directly into the tray. Sometimes it helps to let it kind of sit for a little while to see if you are happy with the design, and then add more if needed. Now, you will need to torch or heat gun to get rid of the air bubbles, but do this very, very lightly, or you will cause all of your resin to blend together and to run, and it'll be kind of pointless. You won't have much color left on the vase. So at this point, I was happy with my design. I took my leftover resin and I combined it all into 1 cup together. And then I poured that into the mold around my design. This will alter the design a little bit, but I'm okay with that. And it's going to give it a cool kind of border on my bowl. So I've done this a few times, so I kind of know how it's going to come out. There's other ways that you could do it, but this is my preferred method. And then once I've poured all of that resin out, then the mold is full enough to make my bowl. Now, one other note, I'm not actually filling the mold completely. That might be a little bit too thick. It depends on the thickness of your mold. I let this sit for a few minutes and let the vase drip until it's mostly slowed down, and then I'll remove it from the mold and let that fill in. I do like to lightly heat gun the resin in the mold so that it fills in a little bit faster, and also just to get rid of the air bubbles. And I let that fill in naturally. You could tilt it if you'd like, but I like to let it keep the design as much as possible and just fill in naturally. Now, how long you wait after this point is going to depend on the kind of resin you have and the temperature in your workspace. I waited about 6 hours, and at this point it's very flexible, but it's not sticky. So it's easy to demold and it's easy to bend and shape in different ways. In this one, I actually liked the bottom better than the top. The white is heavier, so it tends to sink, and knowing that, I kind of anticipated being happier with the bottom design. I then take a plastic bowl and shape it into here. And you could drape it onto the outside of a bowl, and you can use various shapes of bowls, vases, whatever you want to shape this. I prefer to do it on the inside of the bowl. I think it gives a better design, and it's just what I like to do. Once I'm happy with my shape, I put a silicone mat inside, and that is because I'm going to weigh down the middle with a bottle of resin, and I do not want the design from the bottle of resin to be imprinted on my bowl. You do not have to do this. It's just, I think it works the best. Let it cure overnight. Take out the silicone mat and then demold. It should pop out pretty easily. I generally kind of rotate it a little bit and pull up gently on each end. You do not need any kind of mold release. It should come out very easily. So here is how it looks complete. I'm very, very happy with both of my projects. The bowl design, I think, is just gorgeous. It's unique. It's different. Yeah. Bottom's not as exciting because it's mostly black, but I do like this top edge basically where I did that extra, poured in the extra resin. And you can see that sparkle in there, hopefully. The vase came out a little bit darker than I would have liked, but I kind of anticipated this. The black tends to take over. I still think it's gorgeous. And personally, I leave the drips on the top. I like it as part of the design. You do not have to do that. You can sand them off, but I personally like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you all next time.